Alright, ladies and gentlemen, your keystone terms this week are very few. There are only 4 of them, but that's because these 4 are a little bit more complicated than all of the other ones that we have done up to this point. So we've learned a lot of keystone terms, a lot of things in terms of literature so far this year, but some of the lit terms that we still have to learn, like these 4 for this week, use the words that you have learned already in their definitions or in their analysis. So you need to learn what some things are before you can learn these. So that's why there are only 4. But your words this week are diction, style, syntax, and voice. So diction, the first one, says an author's choice of words, phrases, sentence structure, figurative language, which help to create meaning and tone. So diction is the words themselves, what the author is using, and I'll go into that more in a moment. Style, also known as author's style or writing style, it says the author's choices regarding language, sentence structure, voice, tone, in order to communicate to the reader. So see that we already have some repetition. Diction includes sentence structure, and diction includes tone. Style includes sentence structure and tone also. Because diction, you're just saying what types of words and phrases and figurative language does the author use. And I'll go into that, but it's like in Secret Life of Bees, the author is very descriptive. She uses a lot of descriptive words. She uses a lot of imagery and personification. So that's just like literally what she is using. Versus style is how is the author specifically employing all of these words and phrases to communicate to the reader or to achieve a goal. Like how is the author weaving the words and the syntax and the voice together to create their unique writing style. So I just mentioned syntax, but that's another element of the author style, which says the ordering of words in meaningful verbal patterns such as phrases, clauses, and sentences. So again, this is the 3rd time we're seeing sentences or sentence structures. So syntax is the order of the words. So if diction is the word choice, syntax is how you're ordering those things, whether you're using parallelism, whether you are restating something again and again to bring it out, or again, if we say that Sue Kid's diction is that she's very descriptive, the syntax would be she has really long sentences sometimes to describe the setting or describe the character's expressions because she wants to put you in that place to have you visualize what the narrator, what Lily is trying to have you visualize. Alright, so syntax, word order, and then finally voice, the fluency, rhythm, liveliness in a text that make it unique to the author. Style makes it unique to the author too. So voice is the feel of the work. The rhythm of the words and the phrases, how they sound when they are read out loud, like your voice when you speak, is a fluency and a rhythm and a liveliness. So the style includes the voice, includes the syntax, includes the diction, but it's all of it. So I want to go into style a little bit more. So what is style? Every author has his or her own style. It includes how they use literary devices, how they create a tone or a mood. The style is generally recognizable to the author if they're a good author. So when you read several books by the same author, you get used to it. That's why I had you read 2 short stories by the same author in the last unit. So some things that you can use to analyze style, and I'm going to give you a checklist to look at also. So again, the word choice, which is the diction. So this can include dialogue, the word choice in the dialogue for the characters or the characterization, the tone, the mood, sensory language, figurative language, all of these specific choices that the author is using in the way that he or she is writing makes up their style. So one thing that you can look at for diction or word choice is whether it's formal or informal. So for example, informal, Jason's friends dissed him. It has slang. Versus more formally, you would say Jason's friends ignored him. Another example, formal, dear sir, after examining your job description, I feel I am an excellent candidate. I have many years of experience performing these specific duties. My resume is attached. Please read it over at your convenience and contact me if you have questions. Sincerely, Andrew Mayer. Or informally, if you're looking at the word choice, the diction, hey Sarah, what's going on tonight? Call me before you guys leave, okay? Beth. They're both talking to a person, dear sir, versus hey Sarah, from Sincerely Andrew Mayer or dash Beth. Do they both have questions? No, they don't. They both say me and them. I don't know. So just look at the word choice. Like it has a different feel to it. Guys is a different word than gentleman. And the author is using those words on purpose, that diction on purpose. Alright, so then syntax, word order. One thing you can look at is sentence length. Sentence lengths can vary. For example, Janice went to the store. She bought a scarf. They are short. Versus Janice went to the department store where she bought a woolen scarf is one longer sentence. And then the dialogue, word choice, and how you're making the characters speak, their background, where they're from. If they have an accent or a dialect, that is unique to that character, but it can also be a little bit indicative of the author's style. Like if the author is writing a lot of works from the American South and all of the characters speak with a southern accent, that's a little bit more distinctive than, not having that accent. So, for example, I flipped right out of the wagon after he jammed his foot on the brakes, versus I am confident the hours he spent sailing the yacht enabled him to pass the exam. I guess it's a yacht exam. So the word choice there is a little different, formal and informal. There are other ways to look at word choice too, other than just formal and informal, but this is a starting place for you. Tone we have learned about before, but the word choice, aka the diction, and the word order, aka syntax, affect the tone, which is indicative again of the author's style. Because authors tend to have similar tones as they're writing. Because if a writer feels strongly about a topic or a subject, they'll write multiple things about that. Like if you read something else by Sue Monk Kidd, the feel of the book, even if it's not about Lily and it's not about bees and it's not about the 1960s, the feel of it, the tone, and the word choice will be similar. So tone, the author's attitude, the talker, I always say the speaker's attitude. So if it's formal, it's a more serious tone. The author feels more serious about the topic. Versus informal makes it more lighthearted. And the setting can also help create that other than just the word choice. But your word choice describes the setting. So you see how all of these things are connected because we're analyzing the written word. Like these characters and these settings and these themes, the symbols, all of these things are appearing in our heads because of words and letters and the arrangement of them. So words are so complex, it's our job as readers, as English speakers and analyzers, to take apart the words and figure out what is the author trying to say, what choices is he or she making, how are they doing this, are they successful? So you can do that with tone. So for example, you can pause the video and read that paragraph, but it's ominous. The speaker is ominous, suggesting fear or foreboding, using word choice or diction such as caution, dark, looming. They make you feel foreboded, ominous. Another one. Again, you can pause to read that. This one is happy or content. So there's a successful and happy resolution. They use word choice such as giggled, laughed. They're laying in the grass. The cat sauntered contentedly. So that's pretty clear. And then mood, again, we've already learned about before, but I'm talking specifically about the author's style and the diction and the syntax. And the voice, really all four. They go hand in hand. So Mariah wore a black veil to cover her tears. The child giggled as she danced around. Those are two very different feels. How the reader is feeling, the atmosphere of feeling that the author creates in the story for the reader to feel. So example, pause and read that. So the mood would be it's supposed to make you feel content or happy. The author uses words like warm, excited, and glittered. Another example, pause and read it. It's supposed to feel dreary or depressed because of the words cold, sigh, brittle, and forlornly. You know, the author chooses topics and characters to make you feel a certain way, but they're not just saying like, a grim reaper skipped into the town hall. You know, the word choice affects it too. It's not just the topic. The author isn't like counting on what happens to make you feel for the characters. They're describing them very specifically through their actions, through their dialogue, all of these things. Oop, sorry. And then sensory language is the last one that I'll talk about right this second because I'm already over what I wanted. So I think we've talked about this before, and we will definitely talk about this more in January when we come back from break. But sensory language appeals to the 5 senses, your sense of, sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. So if the author is using those types of things a lot, it gives a certain feel to the work. So for example, the breeze tossed her golden curls around her head while the fragrant blossoms entwined in her hair and quivered and bounced. It feels different than other things. So there are some examples for you. So overall, there are as many different styles as there are writers, because we all have different personalities. We all think differently, we use different words, we speak in different ways, we perceive things differently about the world. Like, even if I am describing a student versus the way that student describes him or herself, versus the way that student's best friend would describe him or her, versus the way their mom would describe him or her, we're talking about the same person, but depending on what you notice or what's important to you, what you value, how you interact, we all interpret the world differently. And authors try to capture that in their writing style, in the way that they use their words, what words they're using, and the way they order them and how it flows, or their voice. So here's a little bit into author style. So have fun analyzing it with Sue Monk Kidd, and we'll continue analyzing author style throughout the rest of the course.